not like cocaine or maybe smoking weed. Like, you know, that's a drug that you can do and stop. Heroin, once you start, you're a heroin addict for life. And there's only two things that come out of it, prison and death. I've been down here personally and watched many people die right there. Right there.
Die what, here?
Right there.
Why there?
That's just, they and die. Right there. You know, they shoot up every day and they die. Right there. And
That was an excerpt that you just watched from a docuseries that Mehmet Oz, who of course is running for Senate in Pennsylvania, had filmed back in 2017. Now, the title of this docuseries was Heroin Hellscapes in Kensington, Philadelphia. And to be sure, there is a very serious problem with people overdosing and dying from drugs in this country, from opioids, from fentanyl, from heroin. But this story isn't about that. This story is about how people who are suffering are used as political pawns or political props by the likes of individuals like Mehmet Oz. Now, in this case, it's in 2017 when he put this docuseries out. He wasn't running for Senate then, but he did something that just grosses me out beyond belief. And the rhetoric that we're hearing from him on the campaign trail on this issue also grosses me out beyond belief. Now, here's what happened in the filming of that docuseries. Someone writes on Twitter, addict Steve Johnson in 2017 told me Oz gave him cash to buy heroin so his TV crew could film him shooting up. Oz also promised to arrange for rehab. 3 months later, the addict was still waiting for Oz to make good. And he tagged Dr. Oz in that tweet. So that account, Sam Woodhill is the person who wrote that. It was the journalist who wrote the accompanying article to that docuseries. Okay, so he would, know a thing or two about what was going on behind the scenes with the filming of that docuseries. In fact, he says, I was the reporter, and he links people on Twitter to his piece on it. Now, why is this getting so much attention right now? I mean, this is years ago, 2017. Well, it could be due to Dr. Oz's decision to start campaigning on the drug crisis in the country. Because he doesn't actually care about that issue. He does like exploiting that issue for entertainment value and also, in this case, for his political aspirations. So Will McDuff tweeted this, Dr. Oz ended a 3-stop day in Germantown and Kensington by driving off with several people who told him they were dealing with drug addictions. Oz, who said this was unplanned, doubt it, said he was taking them to reserve spots at a detox center. And here's what he had to say at the event. Let's watch.
You got different people, different places. And then,
you'll go to Rock Ministries and then hopefully get them into Kensington?
No, we're doing both. We're gonna go to Rock Ministries for sure, because I can't get this many people in the.
Is this part of the plan today?
No.
Some of the hospitals offer detox.
So what are you gonna do about our addiction problem?
You missed all the fun. The first thing is put the cigarette down, because that definitely doesn't help. Because it breeds the belief that you have to put something in your body to get through the day. But the most important thing is I know, the solution is this. Getting people to go to detox and give it a chance. It's gonna fail a lot of times, but it's gonna succeed a lot as well. You just keep trying until it finally works.
Now there he presents himself as this kind-hearted person who's just trying to help. It's a real crisis that he genuinely cares about, except for that one time he gave an addict money to inject himself with heroin on camera for entertainment value. It's a little different. But we do have one more video, John, I want to show you. This is from a few weeks ago at another campaign stop where he decided to refer to unhoused individuals who are struggling with drug addiction as zombies. Let's watch.
Go down to downtown Philadelphia. I see it a little bit in Pittsburgh now too, but more in Philadelphia. There are whole blocks, like multiple blocks of areas you can't go. There are addicts walking like zombies, into the streets with needles sticking out of their necks.
Man, that was a real diverse crowd behind him, really diverse. Anyway, so John, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, the idea that was spontaneous. That he just, you need to go? Screw my schedule. I don't care about the campaign. No, I'm all about you right now and I'm gonna help you. I would love to imagine that we had people like this in this world, and that if we did, any of them would be rich. I don't feel like that's possible. But no, not with him. It's convenient to him. They are a convenient prop for the videos that he's actively participating in, as you saw, in the same way that he was with the guy that he apparently paid to encourage and continue his addiction and then leave him alone, maybe to die, who knows? I would say check in on the individuals who are in the back of that car. Are we sure that they made it there? Maybe just dropped him off by the side of the road. That fits his pattern. But honestly, what he's doing right here, like individually, what you just talked about in the documentary is absolutely abhorrent. Like I would never give the time of day to a person who had done something like that. But then think about like what we're used to with politicians.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden, so he said to this one guy, I'll get you help, and then didn't. Joe Biden campaigns on, I'm gonna legalize marijuana, and then doesn't.
Right.
That's not one person he left out, that's millions of people who will suffer, various effects of the criminal justice system and all that. Like we're used to being abandoned on this. How many politicians have said they're finally gonna do something about the opioid crisis and then don't? That is about getting people help. They say they're going to and then they don't. I would say that this is one of the things that Oz most has in common with elected officials, actually.
I mean, I remember the presidential campaigns in 2016 and how many of them decided to campaign on responding to the opioid crisis. And the problem has gotten much, much worse since then. I mean, I remember during that presidential election, you also had campaigns talking about how they're gonna do something about the unsafe drinking water in places like Flint, Michigan. They didn't do a damn thing about it. And look, that goes to a broader point, which is politics has just completely devolved into endless theater, endless posturing, endless pandering, without any genuine interest in leading, in finding solutions, in helping people. Human lives are just there to exploit for their political purposes at this point. Like that's what I see all the time. And look, I know that we're being extremely harsh to Oz, he deserves it. And we're harsh to the Republicans when they engage in political theater and use human beings as political props, as Greg Abbott in Texas has done with migrants, as Ron DeSantis has done with Venezuelan asylum seekers. It's disgusting. But you see theater on both sides, and you see just these hollow, shallow, like acts that don't really lead to robust or substantive action. I can't help but think about Democrats kneeling in kente cloths after George Floyd was murdered by Derek Chauvin.
Yes.
Okay, great. I love the visuals, I guess. I mean,
no.
But it's insulting to do that and not follow it up with criminal justice reform. They totally dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, and the thing for me is not that it's new for politicians to use people just as props and not to fundamentally care about them. Like I think we're used to that. It's that more and more of our politicians seem to be chosen specifically because that's their qualification. Yep. Like Trump was chosen because he's the guy who made a spectacle out of firing people, like doing like mock executions effectively on TV. Dr. Oz for stunts like that.
Yeah.
JD Vance has his own history in media and writing and all that. Like, yeah, those are the sorts of things that should serve as warning signs, but instead they seem to be the things that people are flocking to. Marjorie Greene became known for doing vlogs, spreading conspiracy theories, and these are things that we should be using to like weed out the bad apples, but instead people are flocking to them.
Yep, we see it all the time, and I want to say we deserve better, but if we keep flocking to the bad guys, do we?
Some people deserve better.
Some people do, absolutely.